me and a few other people wrote this email to him saying, we don't get paid enough, we're on minimum wage, we're here 40 hours a week and we have...
What is this project, what are its aims, and what are you planning to do with the money that people give you?
Okay, so this project is a mixture of workplace and community organising. So essentially what we're going to be doing is going door to door in working class communities in Bristol and talking to people about the problems that they're facing. So that might be problems that they're facing in their community or problems that they're facing in their workplace. And then I guess kind of the overarching aim with that is to collectivise people based upon shared problems that they're going to have.
The things that we come across every day in our work as organisers, which could be marginalisation, poverty, poor health even, things like this, low aspiration, which are fairly endemic in communities which have been classed as deprived or underfunded or whatever. So we think that to be able to create a new organisation that is able to focus on the entirety of these issues is something that is pretty desperately needed.
If you're an individual person and you get a letter saying that you're facing eviction, that's definitely a lot more scary than if you're part of a collective group and 20 of you have got that same letter and you can come together and you can talk about how you best want to deal with that. And kind of furthering that, kind of one of the other things we want to do as part of this project is to actually connect those 20 people with other people in their community who might not be facing eviction but also care about it and feel like it's something important, so that those people have got support from all sorts of areas.
As an individual and atomised worker, you don't feel like you've got any sway or power over anything, but really you're part of a bigger picture and you're part of a group of people that these bosses and the whole economy relies on, and actually coming together and working together makes you realise how important you are to the rest of society, and it's getting people to realise that and again breed confidence as well. And it's something that should be recognised, I think.
The community organising aspect of what we do is literally being out on the streets, on estates, in people's neighbourhoods every day, knocking on doors, and what we do is we speak to people, ask them what the biggest issues that face them and their communities as they see it, asking them to identify the problems that they think need being resolved the most.
From their perspective?
Yeah. The destruction of the power of organised labour was something which has been fairly well established as a clear-cut goal of Thatcher governments of the 80s, and it's something which continued throughout the 90s, even under Labour governments.
In their heyday back in 1979, union membership was at the highest it was in the UK, which was 16 million people out of the workforce. Since then, it's gone down 50%. And it's, what's interesting in that is kind of if you look at that in relation to how much directors' pay has changed. So at the time in 1980, the average CEO of a large company, say like Lloyds Bank or Barclays, was 13 times that of the average worker. Now you fast forward to 2012 and the financial crisis caused by the bankers, and it's the idea that we're all in it together. Top directors' pay since 1980 has gone up 4,000%.
The 3 years sort of immediately following on from the economic crash of 2008, in this country, workers' wages fell by 5.5% in real terms. I mean, they weren't actually physically cut, but in relation to what you could actually buy with it, they fell. But at the same time, the top directors of the directors of the top companies over that same 3-year period, their pay increased by 39%. That sense of solidarity and unity that is bred by people working, living together in very similar conditions. That was a very powerful weapon, if you like, in the hands of ordinary people, working class, the labour movement, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And policies which started in the late 70s towards dismantling that has certainly resulted in a more atomised, isolated society.
If we stop working, then the whole country stops. It doesn't matter whether these people are getting on the right trains at the right time with their right briefcases and having nice dinners with each other in the Ritz or whatever. Like, if they're not doing that, then the streets are still going to be cleaned, and that's going to be by us. And I think bringing people together helps you really feel a sense of pride in what you're doing.
It's about shifting the battleground onto somewhere that's winnable. You're not taking on these huge things. You're not taking on kind of like these massive problems of unionisation down 50%. You're not taking on these huge problems of like a neoliberal agenda that's been running for 40 years. You're taking on a single boss in a workplace, or you're taking on a single landlord in a community, or you're taking on like a single councillor in like a really small ward. And because you're doing that, you've actually got a real chance of winning.
The ability to be out every day of the week, hitting the same doors over and over again, speaking to people, is something that is very necessary.
So we're asking people to help us fund this project for its first year. We've got at the moment match funding, but what we need to raise £15,000 so that two of us can work as full-time organisers for the year and have a base to work from.
We're about 40% of the way there at the moment. So we've got 6,000 out of the 15 that we need to get.
So those two full-time organisers are going to be doing is 35-hour weeks out there knocking on people's doors, talking to people about these issues, hosting meetings, giving people training sessions on how they can organise in their communities and in their workplaces. And we're asking people to support that financially, really, and to give us as much as they possibly can to help make it happen.
We're asking anybody who would like to support a project of this nature, be it individuals, organisations, community organisations, unions, anything. Anybody who could really see, sort of the truth of what we're talking about is that society is too atomised, and we need to start collectivising things and start taking back things that we used to recognise as our right, to be honest. But I think that's been eroded a lot. So that's basically what we need the money for, is so that we can go out and build this organisation, which we hope will be, a strong organisation that will run successful. Campaign successful would be the operative word.